right. So Tony, how are you doing, man?
Good, Ted. Just spent too much money on beer.
I heard
Like
about
I
that.
like I know like I know you just did as well, so
Yeah, it's a little too tempting. We were in a chat with somebody and they were talking about smoothie sours, and Tony and I both went to the beer store after hearing him talk about his, like, what did he say, like sour gummy stuff like that. Oh my
yeah.
gosh, bro, it was
Sour gummy bear.
it was nuts. What did you end up getting?
The brand's Mortalis. Um, our buddy Half was saying those are like the most expensive um that he's had, but that they were the best he's had, so I
The
was
cans
able
are
to
absolutely gas.
yeah, no, you guys aren't gonna be able to see it. Oh, maybe you will.
I can see the fire breathing in there, bro.
It's like a three-headed dragon and all the flames are different color.
Yeah, yeah. I was at the store and I don't know if there's anyone who's Midwestern, but I found Toppling Goliath, like a specialty beer. Oh my gosh, I snapped that bad boy up. I should have gotten like eight of them, but I only got one. But I'm very excited to drink it. I'm probably not going to drink it tonight, but I will drink it probably within the next few weeks. So, how have you been trading lately, man?
Um, I've been trading alright. My trading's been real spotty. With ever since really like Thanksgiving, from
Yeah,
Thanksgiving till now. Normally I trade every day, and um, there's been some days where I'm not trading at all. I've been, you know, whether it was over holidays or just taking some time off. I didn't trade at all yesterday. Today I traded SPY twice. Won the first trade I took, and then the second one. Unfortunately, I had to sell for a little bit of a loss, but I don't know if I mentioned this last time, had added some Amazon to a long-term account, so I did that.
oh
I've been
yeah,
been
Amazon.
watching, yeah, I've been watching Ford. Last week that was my setup to watch for this week. Um, we got a really nice jump from last week to the beginning of this week, about almost 60 cents, as it bounced out of that demand zone that we were talking about last week. So I was watching for it. I didn't take any, but I was watching to see what happened. How about you? I know you said today something about you had traded a small cap.
Yeah. Well, actually, let me go figure out which one it was. I traded today. Sorry, I'm looking at something. And also, normally my camera is over here, but it has to be over here because of some wire issues I'm having. So it's gonna be over here for now. But I'm not like looking away from you guys. I can still see you over here. Um, I traded Neptune Wellness, which is NEPT. So I think, what did I trade it at? I think I bought it at like 48 cents, 47 cents, and then sold it like 52 cents. But I'm excited. I think, I don't usually get a lot of small cap gappers that I get to trade successfully for the most part. So the fact that I got a good trade out of it was pretty sweet. I got like 8% out of it, I think. And then later that day, I'm looking right at my call or trade log. I traded SPY calls on a low volume pullback, and then I traded SPY short on another low volume pullback, both of them to the 9 EMA. And 9 EMA is kind of Tony and I's big thing. So I traded that and made money both times. One of them, I was trading it and I took like 6% or 7% on gains, and then I set a stop loss at even. And I saw it go all the way up to plus 24%. And then I didn't sell because I was like, oh, I'm just going to try to ride this last little bit out. And then it went all the way back down to even and cashed me out. So that kind of sucked. But, it was okay. I was happy with what I got.
The the FOMC trade you took, you said?
Yeah, it was the
It's always
FOMC.
there. It's always tough
Yeah, exactly.
because
We're
the
going to talk
movements
about the
so
ABC
volatile.
here in
Yeah.
a little bit. But We also, I also took a GHSI swing. I took, I think it was like 14.1425. I bought into that just because of the, like the demand zone it's in. And we're going to talk more about that later. I'm going to pull up the chart and stuff. But yeah, that was pretty cool. I know that we also recorded the videos for the aftermarket this week, so I'm excited about that, man. We got all the syllabus videos done, and you guys probably don't even know what we're talking about right now because we haven't really let a whole lot out, but we got all of the videos for basically like what to expect out of the classes done. And then we're going to move into, doing the actual first lessons of each of the videos later this week and stuff. Website is almost built. We got the first draft back. Tony and I love it. We think it looks amazing. So now it's just the wrinkles that we're getting figured out.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing for us is I know we were talking to some of our friends before we got on a little bit ago, and the biggest thing for us is, and I know I've said it before, but like we want to make sure that not only the website but the Discord and the whole experience is extremely professional. And um, I know we both saw the website when like it's not finished yet, but we saw kind of, what it's gonna look like. And it does look really good, and I know that was a big thing. And we're gonna make the Discord, you know, or we have been working on the Discord. We want to make it as simplistic as possible, easy to navigate, but packed with information. I know we're both really happy with the logo. If you guys um, haven't followed the aftermarket on Twitter, maybe go do that. We would really appreciate it, but we're really happy with the logo that we got made. I know I contacted somebody today about getting some more branding done. And we just, we want to make it quality, and we are open to, advice, or if somebody, has, if we're putting content out and people are catering more towards one specific thing than the other, we want to hear feedback. So we want to make this as easy as possible for everybody, but we also want to make sure that, it's, you know, quality.
Yeah. I think the biggest thing for Tony and I is gonna be is like when we get started, we have like a very clear plan of what it's gonna be. Um, but along the way, we're willing to like say fuck it and do something different here or do something here different. If you guys want classes this many times a week instead of this many times, or you want like this sort of a catering in one of the classes, then that's what we want to do. We want to do what you guys are gonna get the most out of. And I think that's probably going to be our biggest strength is just adapting to whatever we're given. But for the most part, I think it's going to be mostly just a lot of learning that people haven't even expected. I think the lack of education on FinTwit has been like alarming for a while now. People think that like one little post is like education, like one picture or something. And I think the things that we're going to be putting down are going to be pretty different, and people are going to be kind of feeling like they've missed out for a while. But we're going to see. Maybe not. Maybe people are going to be not as interested in it as we think. But I'm really excited, and I think the website we'll get some links out to our discords and stuff to just check it out once we get like another draft through, or once we get a few changes made to it. But it'll be good. Um, Tony, you know Warren Buffett, correct?
Never heard of him.
Nah, dude, me neither, dude. I don't even know who this guy is. Um, no, but I think. Do you think he's probably like the most well-known investor of all time?
He has to be, right?
Him
I mean,
or I mean, Kathy Ark is pretty big, but that's been recently. That's not like longevity wise, but I would say Buffett might be the guy. Like if when you think
yeah, I mean,
stocks, you think Buffett.
I think he's the most well-known name now. I think there's probably some people that know the name but don't know really what he became popularized from. They just think he's some rich guy.
Yeah.
Um, but I mean, he would have to be, I think.
I was at a family event years ago, and one of my aunts asked me, something about like, what are you gonna do when you grow up, blah blah blah, and I had no idea. I said business or some crap like that, and she said, oh, so you know Warren Buffet, and I said, I'm like 14, and I know damn well that guy's not named Warren Buffet,
Warren
And
Buffett.
no, she was convinced, and she was a 50-year-old woman or 45-year-old woman or something along those lines at that point. But I wanted to talk a little bit about Warren's like his upbringing and stuff. I think it's just a really cool story. Um, so I'm gonna go over a few key points and stuff of his upbringing and then kind of how he became famous. I kind of actually put something together. I went in and did a little research and stuff. So I'm gonna read it off to you guys. But um, first off, Warren Buffett. He's obviously one of the richest investors that we've ever seen. I believe his net worth a year or two ago was $80 billion. He was the seventh richest man globally. Obviously, that's changed now. But he was investing at 11 years of age. I don't know what I was doing at 11. Probably like looking up like skinny bikini on Google or something. Or
Does it say what he invested in?
let me see. No, it just says businesses. But it was it was just crazy to see that he was investing at age 11. And then he kind of just went along his life. He had a few businesses along the way to graduating high school. He graduated high school and then he proceeded to think maybe economics might be his, in finances might be his path. So he goes and he wants to go to Harvard. And I think everyone's heard this story, but he got completely rejected from Harvard, which is I feel like there's a lot of people who have just been completely shut down by either Harvard or one of those big Yales, that sort of stuff, and then they end up being like a big name in the world. But during this time, he had sold a business already. That's crazy to me. He had sold a business already for like $1,200 at age, as a teenager, before he
Which
was
would be
even
a
20
lot
years of age.
today.
Yeah, I wonder
Yeah,
how much that is because that was back in like 1950. He sold a
a lot.
business for $1,000 as a teenager. And then it says that his father insisted that he finished his education and went and got a higher education. So he got his business degree. And then this is where he met Benjamin Graham. I don't know if you guys know who Benjamin Graham is. He's one of my favorite investors of all time. I have a screener that's about Benjamin Graham. It's basically just value investing. So looking at stuff with low PE ratio, high cash on hand, high sales and stuff like that. But he tried to get a job with Benjamin Graham, and Benjamin Graham turned him down. Turned him down. That's another just big rejection in Warren Buffett's life. I just think all these like failures, absolutely crazy. So he turns him down, and then eventually he comes back around full circle, gets a job with Benjamin Graham, and learns how to value invest with Benjamin Graham. But all of this time, he's basically not doing any sort of investing or any sort of like major investments during this time. He's just kind of trying to get his feet under him. But then once he gets with Graham and he starts to kind of just see what Graham is all about, he just takes off. He looks towards buying these value companies. He buys a dying, I think it's a textile factory, which is Berkshire Hathaway. And then look at Berkshire Hathaway now. It's just you're investing in Warren Buffett now, but back then it was a dying textile mill. And obviously we know what it's come to now. But
When did he purchase that, Ted?
I'm not
Does it say
sure.
the year?
I'm not sure. I know it says in 1985 Buffett shut down the textile business but kept the name. So I think that's when he turned to just like people wanting to buy it because he was investing with it.
Yeah.
But here's the deal also. He met Charlie Hunger when he was 30 years of age, and Buffett was already a millionaire. At 30 years of age, he was a millionaire, and that's in 1960. That's in
Yeah. That the
1960.
conversion rate from that's 60 years ago, so that's probably
That's got to be something crazy, man. And there's a lot of speculation to how Buffett made that $1 million, the first million. But he likes to say it's a lot due to intrinsic value. So finding value of underlying assets, finding discounted stocks, buying them in the dirty times, buying them in the scary times, and riding them out into the great times. Which I think that's going to be something that I do a lot of moving forward. I know Tony's just bought Amazon, so I feel like you might be making a Buffett sort of move because I think that's intrinsic value right now, and I think that's just a value play right now. But I just wanted to give you guys kind of a cool little story about Buffett because I just thought it was absolutely nuts that he got rejected 2 or 3 times on his come up after being successful. So he was successful, and then people still rejected him after his success, and then he basically gave him all the middle finger and became the most successful investor of all time.
I just think it's crazy that, um, like you were saying, he probably used, I mean, getting rejected from something like Harvard or something, and then just, using that as motivation instead of, feeling sorry for himself or whatever the case may be. Um, and then to be a millionaire in 1960, I don't even want to know what that amount of money is now, but
Let's find
you know,
out. Let's
he
find
had,
out.
yeah, he just
One
kind of had
million
that never
dollars.
give up mentality.
We're finding out exactly what this is. That is
I think it's gonna
equivalent
be,
to 10 billion or $10 million.
yeah,
So ten
that's crazy.
times. He had $10 million at age 30. That's a pretty successful life if I've ever heard of one. Um, but yeah, I'm gonna do a book review on The Intelligent Investor in the Aftermarket, and that's Benjamin Graham himself wrote that, and that's also one of Buffett's biggest kind of. He attributes that mentality to him being where he is today. Um, Maybe we'll talk more about some people going forward. Maybe like once every couple podcasts, we'll talk about somebody. There's some people we can talk about. We could bring up Sam Bankman-Fried and give a little life preview over him because
Oh boy.
that dude's in the limelight right now. Um, I don't even know what to say about him. Tony, how do you feel about the government like saying Sam Bankman-Fried? They were talking about pandemic with him. They brought him in for a meeting, and then they said, "Oh yeah, we were talking about the pandemic." Do they think
Yeah,
we're stupid, bro?
that's obviously not true, but I saw that he posted bail. It was like so many hundreds of millions of dollars or something ridiculous. Um, but I don't know. I I don't think there's any way he gets off.
There better not be,
Um,
bro. He deserves to literally get a wooden stick up his butt.
I just want to know what, like, all those celebrities and all those people that were endorsing that. I just want to know, like, if any of them,
Tom Brady.
yeah, I just don't know if any of them actually knew, like, okay, this is who we're dealing with. He's obviously shady and doesn't do things out of people's best interest, or if he, like, presented himself as this, savvy businessman that, actually, you know, was, cared about the people that invested in his, coin, or I don't know. I just think the whole thing's a fucking disaster because it also makes people that, backed it, such as like Brady and others, look bad.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so it's just a cluster to begin with.
It's gotta have to do like something with just like riding the ship until you go down. Like I think of like when I was um like younger and I had a few like, business ventures. I don't know why I just said adventure. A few
Business adventures.
business adventures, man. No, I had a few like business advent. Fuck, I just almost did it again, but
Another business adventure.
another business adventure. But I had a few like little things I did, and like obviously I was so like young and inexperienced that they just completely collapsed. Um, but I rode them into the ground because I just didn't want to see the failure and I didn't want to have to basically just like quit it. Um,
Yeah.
and I think that might have something to do with it. Like him basically probably ended up, figuring it out in the past or the last 6, 8 months of the company's life. But I know he's going to fight to death's end that he did not know a single thing about it. But I think he probably had a decent idea of what was going on. And he's definitely gonna get the shebang, I believe. If he doesn't, then it's all politics. And this country is all politics, so there's a hot chance he doesn't get a single bit of anything.
Yeah.
We saw FOMC today. Did you have any, you know, strike takeaways from the movement that we saw after FOMC?
Uh, well, I know we were watching it together, and we both kind of agreed the move wasn't as drastic as, you know, we've seen. Um, Essentially, right when FOMC started, we got the initial pop, and then we got a big time drop and bounced out of demand. And we literally bounced from demand to supply, back down to demand, and then ended the day right in supply in this really tight range. But I think the biggest thing that I pulled from it, I didn't trade it, I know you traded it, was that technicals held up rather well on a bunch
Yeah,
of different time frames. You know, we had a tweezer on the 10-minute that played out pretty significantly. Excuse me.
I've got the
And
chart up
then
now.
uh, where did my chart just go? Um, uh-oh.
I can talk for a minute while you figure that
Oh,
out.
I found it. I found it.
Okay, cool.
So the tweezer that played out was significant, and then immediately we rejected, and started bouncing off the 10 and 5-minute 200s. Um, and we did get another tweezer then into close, and that played out from demand and bounced all the way into supply. We rejected the 5-minute 50, and then closed the day right near supply. So I think the most important thing to pull from, you know, these FOMC days are, yes, they're extremely volatile, but a lot of the times, um, you know, technicals do hold up. So um, I wanted to get your input on the trade you took, because I know we were in Discord together when you took that.
Yeah,
Um,
let me get over to my scalp chart then. So today, obviously, I'm gonna make a few changes here so it's easier to see. I'll move these off for now. So today, obviously, the ABC move did occur a little bit, and I'll write that in for you guys because sometimes it's tough to see if you don't know exactly what we're talking about. So the ABC move is usually an economic event sort of move that Tony and I have talked about in the past, where there's an A move, which is essentially fake, and then there is a second move, which is essentially a little bit of a fake out, and then the C move is usually more real. And I don't know if today would be considered, more real or not, considering it was only two candles on the 5 minute before it started to pull back. But then we never did see the highs that we saw before FOMC again all day. So maybe the third move was real, the C move. But I traded personally. Let me get this 9 up. I traded this 9 EMA tap right here. I added right on the 9 EMA, and then I sold on the next candle, I believe, when it was all the way down in this red, which was probably about less than a point, so probably zero point 0.8 of a point of a move. But I was on 1 DT puts, and so I made um, right about 7%, and then I ended up seeing 25% on that, probably just due to the volatility. But then I ended up stopping out the other half at even. The one thing I wish I really would have done was short at this peak here. I was watching this and I really, really actually liked it too, because I had a zone from right about here. I had a zone drawn in on my chart that was essentially this. It was this zone here. Let me get these ABCs out of here. We'll just drag those over there. I had a zone that was right here, and I really wanted to go short here, but I just didn't feel comfortable wagering any of the profits that I'd had from the day, and I wish I could have taken some on this probably second red candle here. After I saw this second red candle close, I really wish I would have went short, but I was also seeing it bounce off the 9 here. That was my other issue. I kept seeing it touch the 9 and then bounce right up. So I wanted to avoid it at all costs after I saw those two bounces. But looking back, it would have made quite the trade and would have made me probably hit the threshold of a good day to a great day. Um, is there anything on this chart that you want to talk about, Tony? This 5 minute from today before we move on?
Yeah, I just wanted to talk about how consistently those tweezers played out. We have one, two, three, four, and all four of those tweezers essentially went zone to zone.
Yep.
And I guess that kind of just goes back to my point where yes, it's very volatile. And looking back, obviously hindsight's always 2020, but technicals do tend to hold up even in times of extremely high volatility. It also helps if you're looking at a higher time frame, so something like a 10-minute, 30-minute, um, a 5-minute. Sometimes during an event like FOMC can fake you out. But you can see if you know what a tweezer formation is, you can see how consistently and how many played out and literally went zone to zone. So yeah, I think the biggest takeaway is don't just completely disregard technicals and go chasing something or, blindly buying into something. I still think you can trade technically even when something like FOMC is going on.
Yeah, I think it's worth kind of going to this hourly here. There was quite the little trend going. Let me remove my extended hours. There is quite the little trend line here on the hourly, which I've been pretty interested in. Um, I've been watching this every single day the past few days. We saw this bottom on the 22nd, we saw this bottom on the 28th, and we saw this bottom, which was yesterday. And this has been kind of my game plan for this trend is to go long on the bottom side, but we're seeing the same sort of trend on this top side. And I've been looking to go short on this top side as well. I didn't get it today, but this is a pretty strong channel that we're seeing on this hourly. I mentioned it to everyone in my Discord about how strong this is, and to watch the longs at the bottom, the shorts at the top. But moving forward, I mean, whatever we see next, I'm probably going to end up taking it short or long, whichever side it is. We've been in this daily zone for quite a while here. Let me look at the daily as well. Yeah, we've been in this daily chop zone since the 16th of December. Just this area, which is essentially 387 at the highest and 374, 375 at the lowest. So it's not a huge range. What is that? 13 points, 13-point range for 3 weeks. Um, it's not something that you can feel great about breakout trading on. You want to trade those zones. So if you're a spy trader, I would recommend watching these two levels and also watching that daily kind of range and sticking to that. How are you
Also,
feeling? Go ahead. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
no, the only other thing I wanted to mention was I know we talk about it all the time on here, but paying attention to something like the weekly, the rejection earlier in the week, we had a really, pretty perfect rejection off the weekly 9 EMA. Um, it's so important if you like your prep the night before or morning of to pay attention to and go in and mark on your charts where those weekly levels are, because you want to know where those are at all times. If something's approaching the weekly, something like the weekly 9 like we did at the beginning of this week, or on Tuesday rather, yesterday I guess, and you see something approaching that, there's a very high probability that you see a rejection off such a higher time frame EMA or moving average like that. So you really, really, really want to pay attention to where those are located.
Yeah, this weekly is actually crazy interesting. How are you interpreting these wicks on the bottom side? I know this week isn't closed yet, but those other two wicks, how do you feel about those?
Well, that's 3 weeks in a row that buyers have soaked this up, depending on where this ends this week. So, you know, this could be setting up for a pretty aggressive move. Um, we do have a crazy upper wick from the 12th of December, um, which, that zone would be 20 points, which is way too big of a zone. Um, but, if depending on where this weekly closes, buyers are really soaking this up. So we still have 2 days left for this week, and it's always extremely beneficial to check where our weekly candles close. So
Yeah,
as of now, it does look you know pretty good depending on where this closes.
I think the most interesting part for me here is the decreasing volume alongside the wicks. I know that we had short weeks, so and we're gonna have another probably lower volume week this week, but for the most part, like I didn't expect low volume weeks to end up such chop candles. I thought it would end up being a bit more, decisive red or green one way or the other, but obviously we didn't see that. Um,
Yeah, we have a pretty neutral. Well, we have a pretty neutral wedge. If you look at the daily, it's rather neutral.
Let me
And
check it out.
there's a big volume gap on the daily as well, all the way up
Yeah,
to like 3945.
yeah, yep. I see it. I see.
Just kind of consolidating in there.
I see like a lot of room up if this thing really wants to go to like 394, 395 ish. A lot of room up. Also, the downside, there's quite a bit of volume in that area. There's
Yeah,
also, I mean, the other thing we got to talk about this weekly, man, is if we were to bounce here, this would be the first higher low of this bear market. Like there has not been a higher low all bear market. And what I mean by bounce is I mean like a sustained 2-3 candle bounce because we've seen, a low here, a low here, a low here, a low here, a low here with no higher lows with more than one candle because obviously there was a large candle here that was green. But that did not count as a higher low because it didn't end up sustaining. If we see a sustained move here, we're talking possible reversal at that point. I'm not sure about you, but I really was not thinking reversal. I was really not expecting it out of the flip to 2023. I thought 2022 to 2023 was going to end up being the time where we saw a lot of selling, but this doesn't look half bad for longs potentially. I don't know what you think.
yeah. I think it just comes back to where does this weekly candle close? If we, you know, continue working our way up and close above something like the 9 or 20 on the weekly, then it looks really good. If we close outside of that little wedge we have on the daily, it just depends. I mean, the last how many times? 3 times we've interacted with the weekly 50, we've seen pretty big rejections.
Mm-hmm.
So, um, I don't know. I think it's pretty dependent on where we end the week.
Yeah, I'm gonna pull up the. There's a special something, little secret sauce, little razzle dazzle that I like to.
Special something.
A little special something here on this daily for Spy. I
Is it a Mortalis Hydra beer?
I wish I'll probably be over after this to grab one from you.
Okay, I'll
I'll
be here.
I'll sprint there. I'll probably be there next Tuesday. But here's the thing I was talking about. So this 20 and 50, I'm really big on the 20 and 50 MA crosses when it comes to.
Ooh, I see that.
Yeah, man, I'm super big on these. I have a full screener on my FinViz for this. You guys, if you guys go to FinViz, you can put, 50 crossing 20, and then you can have a full set of stocks where this is happening for. But I'm drawing these circles in because I want you guys to see this. The last 3 times, well, let's see if there's one more. There is one more. The last 3 times that the 20 EMA, not EMA, MA, sorry. So the red one. The blue one, bro. I'm fucking chopping this one up bad.
I'm the colorblind one.
Jeez, bro. So the last 3 times that the blue line has crossed below the red line, so the 20 MA has crossed below the 50 MA, we've seen a new low on the market. Here it crossed, and there ended up being 435 all the way to 410. Here it crossed, and the price was 412, and we ended up seeing 360. Here it crossed with the price of 395, and we ended up seeing 348. And we just got that cross on Tuesday. Nope, Friday. Tuesday or Friday, depending on how you interpret this. And right now we're at the price of 384. So that puts us in line for new low. If this ends up being a trend that continues. For now, I feel personally like that's pretty strong. But that weekly close, like we've been talking about, is going to be absolutely massive because we're in the risk area of an inverse head and shoulders as well. I saw Andrew Hubbard said, does it look like an inverse head and shoulders on the daily? And it kind of does. I mean, there's definitely a shoulder here, a head here, and a shoulder here. The neckline's a bit out of whack, but for now we have bullish and bearish. So for me, it feels very, very choppy. It feels like something I'm not interested in, consistently feeling like I should be short for days on end when this is the setup. I feel like I'm gonna have to kind of just play day by day, and then at the nighttime do my analysis and figure it out.
Yeah, something else I've noticed, like looking at a bunch of these charts, is like everything just looks, you know, extremely exhausted. Like decreasing volume, um, things continuously making new 52-week lows. I do think, if we do make new lows, I don't know how much lower we're gonna get. Um, Something like if you look at something like Amazon, it just looks so unbelievably exhausted. I do think this is a potential time for, to start adding some long-term stuff that are in favor of. Um, I don't think, if you plan on adding something 3 or 4 times over the course of, however long, um, I think this may be a good time to start doing so. That's just my personal opinion, but
Yeah, um, I'm on the same boat as you. We're about to talk about some time frame stuff, but first I want to say thanks to everyone for tuning in. Drop a like on the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet. We do this every single week, and we appreciate every single one of you guys who tune in live. It makes it more fun for us to kind of be able to interact with you guys. So thank you. Um, we did promise some talk about time frames. And I know that we'll have a full lesson on this when we do the aftermarket classes, but time frames are very important. So I know Tony has a strong opinion. Tony, what time frames do you use for the most part when it comes to your scalping? If you're looking at something during the day, what are you typically looking at time frame wise? And are you flipping between multiple? What's the plan that you usually follow?
yeah, so scalping wise, essentially what I do every night or during pre-market is I'll set my zones for the day. Um, and I'll set those on a higher time frame, so like the 30-minute, hourly, 4 hour, and I'm taking all my trades on either the 5 or 10 minute or some combination of both. So like on one of my monitors, if I'm looking at SPY, I always have the 5, 10, and 30-minute up. Um, 30-minute because I like to look for, where those 30-minute moving averages at, and I also like to look for new potential 30-minute zones that form. But say something, say I have a demand zone drawn and something approaches that and enters demand, I will almost exclusively be on the 5-minute. Um, and sometimes I'll drop it down to the 3-minute, but very rarely. So 5 is basically the lowest I go. I don't pay any attention to like the 1 minute. You know, I see Milo in chat. Milo's a genius when it comes to trading on the 1 minute. I can't do it, but some people can, some people can't. Um, so the lowest I'll go is basically the 5-minute. Um, and that's completely different from like when I'm just analyzing a chart. If I'm analyzing a chart, I'm flopping through the daily, the weekly, the 4 hour, the 30-minute, the 10-minute, the 5-minute. Um, that's when I'm just kind of looking or trying to read a chart. Those are the time frames I'm looking at. The problem is if you're trying to watch the 3-minute, the 5-minute, the 10-minute, the 15, the 30 all at the same time, you're going to see stuff on all of those time frames that make you want to take the trade and make you want to not take the trade. And
Mm-hmm.
it's just complete information overload. That's why higher time frames kind of reign supreme. So say something looks really good on the 5-minute to bounce, but you have the 30-minute 50 right above. What do you think is more likely to happen? The bounce on the 5-minute or the rejection on the 30-minute? I would take a pretty good guess that the rejection on the 30-minute is more likely to play out than something on a 5-minute. So you have to separate, scalping or day trading timeframes from like when you're doing prep or when you're trying to analyze a chart.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, sometimes, dude, it's like you're getting completely just mind fucked if you look at 8 different charts and 4 of them are bullish, 4 of them are bearish. You're not really sure what's going on. A good rule of thumb when it comes to time frames is if you want more information, go to a lower time frame. If you want less information, go to a higher time frame. That's kind of how I do it for myself. I do use the 1 minute for something in particular that I'll talk about here in a few minutes. But for the most part, I'm a 5 minute trader. This is the 5 minute chart that we have up here. And that's what I primarily do all of my trading on. I think that there's enough time in between candle open and candle close to get candles like this, where there's a wick on the bottom that I get to basically feel very comfortable going long on. I feel like there's enough time, that it's to create wicks like this, to create full candle bodies like this, to create full candle bodies like this, but not too much time to where I'm missing stuff. That's kind of the sweet spot for me because I'm trading potentially, 1 to 15 minute trades. That's all I really take. 1 minute being the lowest, usually 15 being the highest that I stay in a trade. And so that's kind of for me, the 5 minute lends itself well, but I use the other time frames for a lot of things. My main kind of looks are if I'm on this 5 minute, I'll switch to the 10 minute, just like I'm doing right now, for potential longer, longer time frame setups that I'm missing. So essentially, we saw this tweezer bottom here, but then we saw this massive red candle here. I would have been looking at the 5 minute on this and potentially seen a bear flag here on this green candle, but then we could have seen on the 10 minute, it looks a little bit more like a tweezer bottom. That's the difference that I'm going to be looking for on these. I'm looking for spots like this where it's pretty uniform candles, but on the 10 minute, it looks a little bit different than on the 5 minute. I'm looking for things on the 10 minute, essentially like this double top here that I'm seeing, that on the 5 minute, let's go back to the 5 minute. It's not quite as clear. You can see it, but it's not quite as clear. Here there's all that funky chop zone here, but then you go to the 10 minute and it's a little more clear. You see these 2 candles of uniform size, that sort of stuff. So I look at the 10 minute just to kind of clear things up a bit, and then I move straight to the hourly. And I like the hourly because I like to see how candles close on the hourly in particular. So you can see here, this first hour of today closed with a long lower wick. If I were to be short and see this hourly close, if I were on the 5 minute, let's look at the 5 minute. So the first hour of the day puts you to about, so we go to right about here. This is the first hour of the day. Actually, no, it's up to here, I believe. This is the first hour of the day. You were to see this. This would be the close. You'd see this, drop down, and then this. Not much of a sentiment on that. You go to the hourly, you see this massive, red wick candle here. It's got a very, very long lower wick. It kind of gives you an idea that this might be the bulls stepping up. And then what do we see the next hourly candle? A massive move from the bulls. So for me, that's why I use the hourly quite a bit. I'd like to see, at whatever time it is, 10 o'clock, I like to flip around, see how it closed. And then I would probably, if I was, short and saw that hourly candle, I'd exit. If I was long, I'd feel pretty good about it. But there is a reason that I use the 1 minute. And the reason that I use the 1 minute is if I want to see the exact volume inside of a 5 minute candle. So let's find one in particular to talk about. Let's go to the 5 minute here. Sorry, guys. Let's go to the 5 minute here. So at about 9:10 my time, which is 10:10 pretty much everyone else's time. Eastern time, sorry, not everyone else's, but so 9:10 my time, there's this wick with this, this long wick on the bottom side. And if this were to close like this, I would want to see the volume. I would want to see, is this a low volume melt up? So are the, are the bulls pushing up without much volume, or is it a high volume melt up where they're, they're taking control? And if we go back, we can see, sorry, where is this at? Here it is, right here. 9:10. So you can see it's high volume push and then a pretty nice sustained medium volume push back up from the bulls. So that's why I would go to the 1 minute, because then I would be able to see, okay, this is a decent looking push from the bulls here. I don't mind this. I like this. I'm thinking this could be a potential long opportunity. When if I didn't see this volume profile down here, on this bottom side, I'd be thinking, I don't really know how to feel about this. It's not really my style. But now that I see what I see, with the decent volume from the green on those last few candles, then I can like that. So that's what I use the 1 minute for. I know Anthony, one of our good friends, Bad Anthony. He's a big time 1 minute candle guy. He is absolutely, I talked about it today in the Discord. I said something like, I don't like the 1 minute candle. And, he was like, I'm leaving right now, and fucking got up and left and didn't come back all day. So he's a big 1 minute guy, but, I only use it for volume. Tony, any last time frame words?
Um, Probably the only other thing is paying attention to the 9, 20, and 30-minute EMA crosses on, you know, from the 5-minute up, especially on the higher time frames. The moves that you get from these triple EMA crosses, most of the time are pretty significant. So especially if you're looking at something like the daily and you see a triple cross about to happen, you can kind of play around that and maybe take some longer dated contracts, or maybe swing some options on SPY, or if you can catch those before they happen. So I would definitely try to start paying attention to those, if you're not already.
Yeah. Um, we have a few stocks in particular to talk about. Do you want to start, or do you want me to start with our couple stocks that we like the charts on?
I can start.
All right, you go ahead and I'll pull up the
Um,
charts.
the first one is, believe it or not, Netflix. I really do like the weekly on Netflix. Again, this is pretty dependent on how we close the week. We do have a zone that was formed back on the 12th of December, a supply zone. And then our weekly 200 is sitting all the way up at like 367. But I really do like the curl here on the weekly on Netflix. This is something that was extremely beaten down, from April until, the middle of the summer, and has since kind of picked up some momentum. So this is something I really do like. Again, depending on how this weekly closes. And then the other one is the one I mentioned last week. I still really do like the Ford setup. I really like the move out of demand, and I know I mentioned this last week, but I want to mention it again. The moves we've seen from this demand zone, the last 2, 3 times we've interacted with this zone, have been extremely nice. Completely dependent on what SPY does, but if we, like Teddy and I said, we are seeing some, momentum pick up on SPY, this is one of the first things that'll go. So I would pay attention to Ford, especially if you like to play options, but are looking for some cheaper premiums, or maybe you're looking for some Ford long term. But again, it's dependent on SPY. I know I mentioned Ford last week, but the setup has played out so far.
Mm-hmm.
And I would check back in after close on Friday to see where this weekly does close. So those are kind of my two picks. Teddy, anything new
Yeah,
that
I
you
got
like?
two of them. One of them is gonna be just um, kind of a company that I don't love, but this chart I feel like
AHT? Oh,
AHT. If I ever talk about AHT, I give everyone in this permission to chop my ball sack off and eat it as a fucking meal.
I would leave if
My
you talked about AHT.
goodness, you Tony would just be gone. I was one of the biggest AHT haters of all time back in the day when that was super popular. But I have this chart here. It's Hive, and I'm pretty sure didn't you used
Ooh,
to play Hive, if
yeah,
I
I swung
remember right?
high. I swung high for a while.
back in the day where swings were the popular thing to be on. But this thing is terrible as a company. I mean, they bleed $170 million every year with sales of 270. So don't think that this is by any means um, anything long term, anything more than weeks or days. But this chart here is kind of speaking to me as a potential, bounce spot here. This is the first candle close above the 20 MA since August. Um, and we've been in a downtrend since August, and it's gotten rejected at the 20 MA one, two, three, four, 5 times. And today we closed a high volume candle above that 20 MA, which is pretty massive. So keep this on your watch list as a possible swing opportunity. Looking towards, if they get a high volume push, maybe you're going to ride some momentum here. Maybe it gets another nice green candle and then you get a retest of that 20. So keep it on your watch list for that. Don't keep it on your watch list for something to actually have on your watch list longer term. Just for fun, just to have a little small cap possible. I did want to mention really quickly, this is not one of my two, because I'm going to do 3 today, but this is not one of the 2. This is just GHSI chart. And you guys can see why I like it, this demand zone here. I'm actually in the swing right now. I really, really like how this thing has acted out of this 14 cent demand zone.
That looks really good.
Yeah, but my other one that I really, really like is going to be a short opportunity, and that's Costco. I really think that for right now, I think this is probably one of the safer short bets on the market if I go to the weekly. I don't like to, promote a lot of short stuff. Some people don't like that. I don't like to talk, about shorting common stock, but I'm thinking about shorting common stock on Costco here. You can take the put approach. Puts are pretty much the same thing. They just add, some time, a little bit more of a tough dimension into it. But this is the first time we've seen the 20 cross below the 50 MA since 2017. And this is a pennant forming on the weekly, and it just broke to the downside, and we've seen 3 weekly candles close below the pennant. So it's well confirmed below this pennant. It's also just, you could even take this top one out and call it just an uptrend break if you wanted to, but the top side definitely has a little bit of a line itself, so it makes it a bit of a pennant. But the big thing for me here, guys, is going to be this volume gap below. Below about 450, this thing has room all the way to 390 at the minimum. Like that is 15% upside on a large cap for a short opportunity on commons. If you were to ride that out on options, I don't even know how much you'd make. Probably 500%, maybe even 1,000% on something like that, depending on how fast it happened. But that also correlates with the 200 MA is down here at the 390 area. So, I mean, that's a pretty easy spot to keep yourself ready to sell if this were to, come down to that zone like I think. But I think this is a potential absolute slam dunk of a short opportunity considering the volume gap here, the pennant break, the uptrend break, the 20 crossing below the 50, and then the 200 as far away as it is. I don't see how this doesn't see that area, in my opinion.
I like both of those charts a
Awesome.
lot.
That's what I like to hear. So we're in agreement on all of them. I like your charts too. Any charts that you want to talk about before we move on to the tier list for the episode?
Uh, no, probably the other one to just keep on watch is that I have been watching is, you know, if we are gonna make new lows, watch something like Amazon. Um, I just think it's kind of a no-brainer investment. This is strictly my opinion. I, you know, everything I say on here is my opinion. Um, but I really, really do love Amazon, and I would love it if Amazon continued to fall. Um, to add that in increments, but that's something I've been watching every day, so.
Yeah, I agree. This week I made a video about investing in Amazon. Um, and I really like it long term. I gave my 4 kind of investment zones on there. One of them
Yeah.
was $82. I believe one of them was 75. One of them was maybe it was like 64, and then one of them was like 53ish, and that was the
We go to
lowest.
$53.
I'll be loading the fucking boat.
I'll sell the dogs.
I'll be like that guy in the Bible with 2 fucking animals on the boat, but I'll have just Amazon
Noah's Ark.
stock. Yeah, dude, I'll be Noah with just my Amazon. That'll be
That's
my entire investment portfolio.
Bethany said Z.
Zzz. Yeah, he can go drink a juice force. I'll beat his ass 1v1 in League later. I'll fucking put him on a pedestal, dude. He'll be on the Jumbotron on Sports Center Top 10 fails.
I think he's talking about Zillow.
Oh. I don't know. I was just expecting some flack out of him.
That's funny.
I'll tower dive him.
I hope he's listening to that.
I hope he is too. I'll be Olaf and I'll tower dive him and put my axe up his bum.
Zillow does look good.
Let me check this
actually.
out. All I know is my wife is on Zillow every day of her entire life, so they're doing something right. This does look good.
I am. Yeah, that's what I figured.
I thought he was saying zzz, like he was like being like, you're boring. I was gonna. Sorry for the harsh words, Anthony, but yeah, this looks good. This has a potential inverse head and shoulders setting up here.
There's a ton of room on that to the 200s.
Yeah, bro, look at that. If it gets above that 200, look at that like candle that we got on that weekly. It would just run through that from about 65 to 84, something like that.
Yeah.
It's got to do that first though, which it's at $35, so it'd have to double from here. Not sure how likely that is, but if it were to get up there, I mean, that would be pretty big. Look at that. Yeah, no, I like this, Anthony. Milo says Carvana. Let's talk about that. Carvana. Holy moly, this thing. It's curling, though. Like, I see the curl that you're talking about here. $5 a share on Carvana. The only thing I'd be worried about, well, I mean, I don't even know if you really got to be worried about this. That's still tons of upside, but I could see it coming up and retesting that previous all-time low, somewhere around $9, and getting a pretty heavy rejection there. So if you see that happen, then I'd get out as soon as possible. But right now, this looks pretty good, especially on that weekly, almost like a tweezer bottom on that weekly. Do you like it, Tony?
Yeah. Yeah, it does look good, and I think that Zillow chart looks good too.
Yeah, Milo says that there's a very high short percentage on Carvana as well. That's pretty big. I think it's time for the beer tier.
The beer tier.
I'm dragging her over. All right,
I
the
like
beer
that.
tier, baby.
I like that name.
I think we should coin that. The beer
Beer
tier. All right, do you have your beer ready to drink while we're making the beer tier?
Oh, I've been drinking it.
I'm kind of feeling this one. This one is 9% alcohol. Yeah, I'm feeling
This
the.
one is
I wish I would not have started it so soon.
7% strawberry, banana, and pineapple.
That sounds banging.
This half was right. I can't wait to tell him he was right.
Dude, he was pretty passionate about them. He pulled out the pictures real quick. He said, "Oh, you're interested in these? Well, let's see these pictures." And he had them.
Some of these I'm gonna know nothing about.
I'm gonna know probably like half of them. We're doing it in the same fashion we did it last week, where we start with the first one, and then we move into each of them as we go. Like, I'm not gonna know this second one, Arrogant Bastard. I hope you know that one, Tony. Angry Orchard.
Angry Orchard, Jesus. I feel like it's not horrible, but I wouldn't drink I like 6 of them.
I mean, I can drink this is actually the first alcohol I puked on. When I was like 16, I got them in my parents' basement, and I puked up like apple smelling.
They're
puke,
really
obviously.
good when they're like very cold.
Yeah, like apple cider sort of shit. I'm a big fan of it when it's like that. I mean, I think it's got to be between C and D. I feel like maybe C.
Probably C.
I agree with C. C can probably be um, pretty fair here. Arrogant Bastard Ale.
No clue.
I have never had. All right. This might be like a half logo. Super dry, and then it says
No
something
idea.
here, but I've never heard that. Blast Point.
No idea.
No idea either. Bex. That's pretty popular.
I've never had it. I know what it is though.
I've never had it either, but I've heard of it. Blue Moon.
I like Blue Moon, honestly.
I like Blue Moon as well. I think that's a pretty fucking because these are
I-
none of these are like gonna be like crazy good beers. They're gonna be like just like the normal ones that you can find
I'd
at
say
any
that's
store.
like solid beer A.
I'm thinking we throw her an A. I actually really if I go to a place and like they don't have any craft beer or anything, Blue Moon is what I order every time.
Yeah, I'm cool with it.
All right.
Is that a Lime-A-Rita?
Yeah, Lime-A-Rita.
That better go in F.
I was saying D or F for sure. I was hoping you weren't gonna like it.
Those are disgusting. No.
Bud Light Lime.
I like Bud Light Lime.
I think it might be Angry Orchard.
It might beat it.
No, it might be in the same area.
Oh yeah.
Do you think it's better?
That's-
You think it might be above that, or do
I
you
would
think?
I would drink that over an Angry Orchard, but I don't know if it's deserving of a B. That Bud Light Orange though that I see, that better be in B or A. Because
You like Bud Light Orange?
Yeah,
I honestly have never had it, so you're gonna get your full
it's
opinion
really
on that.
good. I also like Bud Light.
Okay, so B or A, you say? Is it better or
Probably B.
worse than Blue Moon?
Blue Moon's better, but
Okay.
I'd say
Bud
regular
Light
Bud Light.
Original.
I don't know. Ever since I drank like 17 Bud Lights on 4th of July, they haven't been the same.
They, you had a primitive experience with Bud Light.
Yeah, I don't.
I
mean,
think it could
like
be a C. I
Yeah, it's
think.
like middle of the pack.
All right, Budweiser Original.
Uh, mm, I don't prefer. I've had them, but
I think I would put it in C, but for the fact that it was Jeffrey Dahmer's favorite beer, I think it has to go to D. If a
Yeah,
serial
that's
killer
reasonable.
loves you that much, then I think you have to get pushed down to D.
that's reasonable.
Like, I just think it's fair enough. Bush Light F. No fucking doubt.
Whoa!
Oh, no fucking doubt.
Whoa!
We can
I wish
argue.
Dustin,
We can
I wish
argue.
Dustin was still in here.
We can
It's
argue.
so it's so affordable. It's almost cheaper than water.
It is water. That's the whole point. It is water.
Yeah,
Where
but,
would you put it? With
It
Bud
can't
Light?
be F.
D.
I think
Think it
D.
belongs D. Okay, we
But
can
there's
make
a spec-
revisions at the end.
That's Bush Lights. There's a special place for Bush Light in Pennsylvania. So.
In Iowa as well. People wear Bush Latte hats everywhere.
Mhm.
Cass Fresh, ever had that?
No idea.
Colt 45, ever had that?
Jesus, that better be F.
F, I've never had it. Colt 45. Did you? I guess that must be like the high school drinking beer. Just sounds
It's
like it.
just- It's just disgusting.
Coors Banquet, how do you feel about that one?
I like Coors Banquet a lot.
I think it might be B tier. I think it
I
might
think
be.
it'd be A or B.
Dude, if you're I was scared to say A. I was scared I'd get judged. I actually have one right there and I'm gonna put the camera on it. Everyone,
like Coors
there's my
Banquet.
Coors Banquet right there. I'm a big fan of Coors Banquet. That's probably my go-to like if I need to just get a normal beer. Coors Light, maybe
Just
with
middle of the pack.
Bud Light, yeah.
Mhm.
Oh, Deschutes Fresh Squeezed IPA. That's a
Never
pretty
had
good
it.
beer. That's a pretty good beer.
Yeah,
That
never
would
had it.
I would put that. I think that might have to go in C. We're getting kind of C heavy. We might have to split these up. Dogfish Head 90-minute IPA. I think
love Dogfish
that
Head.
might be S. Like that might be.
Yeah.
Okay, I love Dogfish Head. Dos Equis.
I'm indifferent on it.
Middle of the pack. Then Deschutes has to go up. I feel like it has to go up. Dragon's Milk?
No idea.
Ever fucking heard of that?
Mm-mm.
New Belgium Citradelic. Is there any other New Belgiums in here? There is not. Let's just call this. No, we can't do that. All right. New Belgium Citradelic. Have you had that?
Nope.
Neither have I. I was gonna say we could just make it all of New Belgium's IPAs, but that would be a little OP. Fat Tire.
Like Fat Tire.
That's a good beer. Maybe A?
Yeah.
All right. Foster's. How do we feel about that?
Never had it.
Same. Founders All Day IPA is pretty
I've had that
fucking
before.
good.
I'd say probably A.
A. I think I probably agree there. Goose
I
Island.
like
really
Goose Island
good.
a lot.
That's close to S2 for me. I don't know. What do you think?
We can put in A for now and adjust it at the end.
Yeah. All right. I'm down for that. Guinness. How do you feel about Guinness?
No.
I hate Guinness. People love Guinness. I hate Guinness. I hate it. I would probably put it in D. I'd say it's better than a Bud Light Lime-A-Rita, but it's pretty bad. Like, I'm not a Guinness guy.
Bud Light Lime.
What do you think?
My God, yeah, it better be better than a Bud Light Lime-A-Rita.
You think D or you thinking higher?
Mm-mm.
D. All right.
Yeah.
Gumball Head? I've
had it.
never heard of that. Nope. All right, this next one I have maybe the strongest opinion of all time on. Heineken, I think, deserves the absolute death penalty, whoever created that recipe. It smells like I'm kissing a Russian man's fucking like cigarette butt that he spit on the ground and then stomped with his shoe and then blew more smoke into my face while I'm eating it. And then also poured like the worst beer that's 8 months old on top of it and made me lick it. Like, it is just a skunk puts a fucking cigarette up its butt,
I'll let you put it in F.
sucks the smoke from the cigarette up, and then literally puffs the skunk butt cigarette smoke into my mouth is what it tastes like. And I have one. I have one in my fridge right now, and I just
You must have a bad experience with Heineken.
terrible. Henry's Hard Soda.
Yeah. They're okay.
I don't really like them. They're like literally so sweet.
Yeah, they're like Twisted Teas, too sweet.
Maybe F. I don't know. They don't
Yeah, probably
deserve
D,
F because
right.
they're like, yeah, they're not bad. They're just not my cup of tea.
They're like a girly drink.
Height Extra Cold.
No clue.
Keystone Light.
Keystone Light. That's an A.
You're for real?
No.
I was gonna say, bro, what the
That's
fuck?
the same thing as Bush Light. It's just a different name.
That okay. Then we could I'm happy with that. King Cobra?
Never had it.
No fucking idea what that is. Kingfisher?
No clue.
Never heard of that one. Kirin Chaban.
Don't even know what you said.
Labatt Blue.
Yeah, I like Labatt.
You do? Alright. Where's this
Yeah.
one going?
Probably like C.
See? Alright.
Yeah, I like Labatt.
Lagunitas IPA.
Never had it.
I think it's probably safe to put in with Deschutes. It's definitely better than average. It's not like Dogfish Head or Founders, but it's pretty good. Langenlugels.
Leinenkugels?
Leinenkugels.
A. I love Leinenkugels.
Dude, that one might get moved to S after this.
Leinenkugels?
I'm a big Leinenkugels guy. I love those. I get pretty much every single thing they put out.
Ultra, yeah.
Michelob.
That's an A.
A tier?
That's an A, yeah.
I can vibe with A tier.
Just because I drink it when I'm golfing.
It is a good golf beer. It feels classy. It feels like a classy beer.
Even though it's not at all. It's
Yeah, no, but it does feel classy. Mike's Hard Lemonade.
disgusting.
I think that one probably F, I'd say. Miller High Life.
Good. I like Miller High Life.
B, maybe? I think B is probably pretty safe for that. Miller Lite.
Mm-mm.
I think that one's gotta be in with the Busch Lights and the Keystones.
Yeah.
Milwaukee's Best Ice.
That's an F, bro.
Just for that name, bro.
Have you ever had that?
No, bro.
It's awful.
Milwaukee's Best Ice?
It's horrible.
Yo, what? Modelo Chelada.
I like Modelo.
You like the Chelada?
Never had that.
I've never had the Chelada either. I feel like where's just normal Modelo? I don't know.
The next one?
Modelo Negra, though, is like either A or S for me personally. Have you ever had that? It's the dark one.
No, no.
We can't put it in S then. It can stay in B, but everyone know that I would have put it in S or A. We can't put it in S if we don't agree for sure. Natural ice. What are these ice?
Natty ice. Yeah,
Natty
dude.
ice, bro. Where are we
That's
feeling?
S.
That's S, dude. All right. I don't think it actually is S. What are we thinking? Where are we?
That's an F.
An F? You're feeling?
Natty ice. Those are like 30. Those are like 30 cents, bro.
You can buy one with a penny in the middle of your fucking car.
Natty lights are even cheaper. they they actually pay you to take
You make a living wage from drinking natty lights, bro. All right,
you could
natter days.
recycle you could recycle the can for more.
For more than it's
They're-
fucking worth.
Yeah, they're disgusting.
Oh. Natter days. What are we
It's
thinking?
F.
F?
F.
I would
F,
put him
F,
in D,
F,
but
F.
I can respect F. They're not very good.
All the natties are an F.
You can recycle them for more than they're worth. Okay. Nuclear spotted cow is S tier, no fucking doubt. You've never had that because
Never
it's
had
only
it.
in Wisconsin, but no doubt S tier. Like, it just belongs there. It lives there.
I believe you.
It just has to be there. All right, Newcastle brown ale.
Never had it.
Yeah, same. Old English.
Never had it.
All right, here's the one.
PBR.
Tony's a PBR fan.
Hell yeah.
Where are we putting it?
That's an A.
An A tier. All right.
Ow.
Pacifico has got to
Never had
be
it.
with Modelo. It's got to be with Modelo. Pacifico's pretty damn good. Red Stripe, ever had that?
Nope.
It's a Jamaican beer. I'd say probably B tier. It tastes like corn chips.
Mm.
Red's Apple Ale.
No.
It's got to stay with wherever the other Apple one is, but lower. Angry Orchards and C, I'd say D probably.
Yeah.
Rolling Rock, ever had that
I
one?
like Rolling Rock. Yeah, I like Rolling Rock.
I've never had it.
Probably B.
B. All right. Samuel Adams Boston Lager. That's
Like
a
that.
good beer. I think
That might be an A.
that's an A tier. Yeah, I'm a big fan. San Miguel.
No clue.
Sapporo. It's that rice beer.
Never had it.
I don't think I've had. I have had it once, but I don't remember enough, so I'm gonna put it in never. Shock Top is fucking terrible.
Yeah, I've had it.
Not a fan. Oh, the automatic S, baby.
What
Smirnoff
does that
Ice, bro.
dude.
Smirnoff Ice.
The highest of quality.
Is there an S plus that Smirnoff can go in, bro? I feel like it's got to be in D or F. It might not
Probably
belong
D.
in D, but it definitely is bad. Stella.
Don't care for it.
It can't be an
It
F.
tastes like cat
D.
piss.
Yeah, it's definitely D. I'd say. Sing Tao.
No idea.
Oh,
F.
Claw,
White
no
Claws are
law,
disgusting.
baby. I hate
White Claws are absolutely rancid.
Yanjing.
No clue.
Yeah, she goes down.
Yingling.
Yingling.
A. Put that in A.
Yingling. I'm a fan of Yingling. I like Yingling. I have no idea what this even is. Do you know what that is?
No idea. That looks like
Oh.
a condom wrapper.
It does, bro. The line in the middle of it. They always try to dress up condoms. I don't know why they do
Yeah.
that. Like I was at a college party when I was at one time, and there was like a thing of condoms on the thing, and they were actually one of them had glitter on it.
Oh yeah, they're like super fancy.
Dude, why? What's the whole point of that? Tecate.
Never had it.
This is literally Natty Ice, but Hispanic.
Hmm.
And so it's gonna get D because it's
We
not
might have
as
to
bad.
move Goose up to S.
I think I agree. I'm happy you said that. I think Lion Kugels might as well.
Yeah, I like Leinenkugels. You can move that up.
Okay. All right. So do we have any other last minute changes?
No, as long as all the natties are in fucking F, then we're good.
We're feeling good about it.
Yeah.
Natties. Should they go at
Three
the, I feel like
natties.
we have to put them at the end. They have to be at the end because they're the worst. I just can't believe that there's an actual beer called Milwaukee's Best Ice.
Yeah, it's like
Like,
Smirnoff.
yeah, dude, Milwaukee, but it's a beer. Milwaukee's best
It's
ice.
awful.
All right, let's just run through this one little quick time so I can make sure we got everything right. All right, I feel pretty good about S. I feel pretty good about A as well. Nothing I would really change. I would put PBR in B, but you like PBR, so it stays in A.
Bud Light can go up to B.
Bud Light can. Where's Bud
Yeah.
Light? Can go up to B. I can vibe with that. I feel like we need to promote a D.
Probably the Bush
Bud.
Lattes.
I'd say Budweiser, not the Bush Latte. I'd say Budweiser probably.
Yeah,
It's better
Budweiser.
than Bush, I'd say.
Yeah,
Limerita,
that's
bro.
not really hard to do, but Limerita,
Yeah, I mean,
no.
I could probably make a better beer with a fucking loaf of bread and some water tomorrow, if we're being
Some barley.
honest, than Bush Light. Colt 45 and two zigzags. Baby, that's all we need. Heineken, dude. I'm gonna get flack for that one. People really like Heineken.
Yeah,
I just that was my one deal breaker. No changes. All right.
I'm happy with the list.
I'm feeling pretty good about it. Let's screenshot it here so that we got it. Make sure we keep everyone on their toes about it. Yeah, but thank you guys for tuning into this. I had a good time. I'm sure Tony did too.
Oh yeah.
We'll be back next week, same time, same place. Set an alarm, that sort of shit.
New
But
tier list.
yeah, new tier list. We'll be taking recommendations as well. So whatever you
What
guys
should we
want to
do
see.
next week?
I don't know, man. Should we
Halloween
look at
candy?
some tier lists? They got a whole
Yeah.
bunch of them here. Let's see what categories they got. Dude, candy's pretty good. Let's search candy. Ooh, yeah, they got a whole lot of candy ones. Candy tier lists. They got all these candies on there. Create your own Halloween candy bowl. This one might be the one we have to
Ooh,
do.
I like
That's
that
a pretty
one.
good.
The Halloween candy.
I'll start that one up with that one, and then we'll get into this later next week.
Yeah, thank God somebody else likes candy corn.
I think we're about to get ran off the screen after that one, so I think
Candy corn, and you can also put Juju bees.
the Jujubes, bro. I don't even know if I've ever had
You ever
those.
had those?
I
Oh,
don't
bro.
think so, dude. A
They literally
Jujube.
come. They literally come as hard as a rock.
Like a
They're,
fucking
they're gummy candies, but
jawbreaker.
yeah, dude, they're the worst thing ever.
Yeah, I'm a big candy corn fan, but I hate the pumpkins. The pumpkins are too much. They
It's
like
too sweet.
cause my mouth to hurt.
Yeah,
But
too
yeah,
sweet.
we'll be back next week. Thanks for tuning in, guys.
Thanks, everybody.
We appreciate you.